Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Auto Transport Intel. It is Wednesday. It is noon Central Time. That means it's time for DOT Compliance with your DOT guy, Brian Riker. We're going to talk about all things GVWR, FMCSA, DOT, ELD, HOS, whatever you've got. If you need help with your authority, your DOT number, IRP, IFTA. This is the show for you. And I want you to do me a favor. Go ahead. I don't have a giant marketing budget, so please do leave a like and then hit that share button. You see it's below the video. You can click share, you can click copy, you can grab that YouTube link. Text it, email it, share it on social media, tap a friend on the shoulder. I know you know somebody that's just starting out or has questions, or maybe you have a question and you don't know who to talk to. Well, this is your opportunity to get answers to your questions. Please do join the live chat. It's wide open. You could be first to put in your question, leave it in the live chat. And then if you miss the show live, you can put it in the YouTube comments below, and I'll tap Brian on the shoulder and let him know you've got a question. Also, if you have, you don't even know where to start, go to autotransportintel.com, click on sign up, join the ATI Insider Program. You can talk to Ty, you can join us on a roundtable, get the email. We want to help you. That's what it's all about. Auto Transport Intel is all about growing your business or finding out this isn't for you. It's not for everybody. It's not easy, and you're not going to get rich right away and all that cool stuff. So please do say hello, Vistaga, 10 miles from Princeton, no service. Well, great. You're in the live chat, man. Thank you so much. And I'll tell you what, it's time. It's now 2 minutes after, and this is only a 30-minute show. We don't have a lot of time. So it's time to go say hello to Brian. Let's bring him in. Brian, can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Jay. Good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on? Now, is that sunshine I see coming through the window?
Yes, it is. I'm Rockdale, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, and it's sunny and low 50s. It's a nice day out today.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really nice to see the sun. I'm in Kansas City, and it was beautiful yesterday. I mean, great. So,
Yes.
thank goodness. Now, is that how's the whole country doing? Is Texas still frozen?
Texas is back in the 60s. I was talking to a
Oh,
friend
wow.
in Dallas just last night, and they're doing fine. They have electricity back on in most of the state. Most people have their water back. Texas is doing okay. Right now, it's a good week to be in America.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, cool. I mean, I'm really happy to hear that, right? Because this is America. This is the United States. We got to look out for our neighbors. So,
Yes.
all right, we got in the live chat. We got Fritz Duval is in here. What's going on? Silvermint is back for more. Silvermint was in the live chat in the show last night with Plateau Load Exchange. And Two Bear says, "Let's get legal." That's a
Good
pretty good
morning,
motto.
Dave.
That's
I
a
like
really
it.
good motto. I like that a lot. Let's get legal, Two Bears. I like that. Okay, so again, we did say if you got a question, go ahead, please post it in the live chat. Yes, Jay, we got the message. Here it is, Two Bears. Hey, ask Brian about doing that update on your mileage for your biannual.
All right. Good question. Thank you, David. The biannual update, it's something that you can do for yourself for free. It's not that complicated, but there are services out there that will help you with it. I do it for a nominal fee. Some places rip you off, so pay attention. You, excuse me, you'll go to the FMCSA website, and there's a tab to click for registration, update your registration. You'll use your DOT PIN number. Takes you about 5 minutes to do it for yourself. If you do it yourself, it's free. I charge $25 for processing it because it does take a little bit of time. Be wary of the stuff you get in your email inbox that tells you it's due now and you're going to be put out of service and we can do it for $129.95. That's the ripoff scam. You will not normally get a reminder before it needs to be done from FMCSA. They'll only mail you a letter later telling you you're out of compliance. And it's real easy to figure out when it needs to be done. You look at the last 2 digits of your USDOT number. I always get it backwards, but odd or even tells you whether it's the odd or even year for the last digit, and the second to last tells you what month it's due, or vice versa. I always get that backwards, but there's actually a chart on the FMCSA website during the under the update your registration tab that explains it. So between January and October is when they're all due, and it's every other year based on whether you have an odd or an even DOT number.
Interesting. Good information. Thank you. Mark is here. Hey, looking forward to learning today. Two Bears, so follow up. So if my number ends in a 1 and it's an odd year, was I supposed to do it in January? And what mileage do I need to supply all last year?
You would supply the entire mileage that your truck drove last year. So for the year 2020, you would provide the entire mileage that your truck drove for the year. And you will need to, so what did your number end in again?
It's a 1.
Ends in a 1. It has to be filed by the last day of January. And
yeah, and he says, and that's what he said. Was I supposed to do it in January? And it sounds like the answer is yes.
Yes, if it ends in a 1, it was due by January. What is the next to last digit? What are the last 2 digits of your DOT number?
Okay, right. So last digit is 1. Brian is asking, what is the next to last digit? And what is this, by the way, Brian? What is this called? This
is your biannual update or biennial update.
Biannual update, which refers to the mileage of your truck.
Yes, and any other changes. So if you've added or subtracted total number of drivers, total number of trucks, anything like that. And I should know what Two Bears DOT number is.
And let's do that. He's getting that together. Let's go ahead and look at so if you go to, here we are, we're at the FMCSA site.
Mm-hmm.
So where would we go?
You click the tab that says registration.
Okay.
The sub tab that says update your registration.
Okay.
And then in there's a hyperlink in the middle that says biannual update. And that'll hit a page that even gives you the chart for when it is due. And then you can click on the update online link. There's a registration portal.
Yeah.
And
great.
It's right there. All you need is your PIN number. And if you don't know your PIN number, there's a link to click to have them email it to you.
Wow. And
remember the email address you used, you can ask them to mail you one, and you'll get it in the regular mail in about a week to 10 days.
Yeah, update on the wow. Very cool. And you can even fax them. And there's a smoke signals web page. Now the USDOT, you're right. And so the last number dictates the month.
Correct. The second last dictates whether you do it in the even or the odd year. And I always get that backwards. I have to come back to this page and look it up myself all the time.
Where does it say even or odd year? And by the way,
right under you, about halfway down the screen, you see where, scroll back up.
Okay.
You see where the chart ends. Read that paragraph right there.
And his second to last number is 2.
So he does it in the even years. So he needs to have had it done by January of 2020, and it'll be due again January 2022.
Interesting. Hey, what's up, Kimberly? Kimberly's in the live chat. John Larrick is here. This is really interesting, Brian.
Thank you.
And it's cool because we were just talking about how
this website works.
The website, and there's so much there that if it was your first time going, I remember my first time, and when the first time you go there, you're like, I gotta get out of here. There's way too much stuff. And we don't want it to be that way. Compliance can't be that way. Compliance can't be scary. Ooh, another tag. That could be the name of this episode. Compliance can't be scary.
It's really not scary. It really is just overwhelming as you're learning it.
Like that Taco Bell commercial where they're nachos and it's scary, The PIN number is provided in the reminder letter. That's what Fritz put in the live chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Make sure you have access to do this yourself. and not pay an overpriced service provider.
Right. So if you get that letter ahead of time, don't be put out of service. Compliance is scary. That's a scam.
Most of it is a scam, yes. If it comes in an email, most likely it's a scam. If it comes from an email with a .gov address, then it is probably legitimate. But the FMCSA is not really in the habit of emailing you except about your new entrant audit when you're a brand new motor carrier. Otherwise, the FMCSA is in the habit of using old-fashioned snail mail.
Okay, so Reese says he likes the poster behind you, Brian. What's the poster?
The poster behind me, I'm actually in a friend of mine's office today. This is not my office, but when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful.
That is a great poster. Good call, Reese. I didn't even.
There we go. Now we can see the poster.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, let's get another news story, the handy dandy news. That is cool that we're up there. By the way, there is Fleet Compliance Solutions LLC. That's Brian's site. I put it into the live chat. Let's take a look at... Okay, so first up, we'll do real briefly. Diesel spike. What's going on?
We had a major cold snap affect 2/3 of the country, and a lot of us, myself included, burned diesel fuel for heating oil. Then there were supply chain disruptions because of the mess in Texas where they weren't ready for the cold. So of course it's going to go up. It's supply and demand. This is not exciting news. This is not a result of the new Biden administration. That will cause fuel prices to go up, but not immediately. The fuel price dipped up because it's wintertime, and we had a really rough week last week. So I'm not too concerned about this. In the car haul world, it's tough because we don't have the same type of fuel surcharge that the spot market freight world does. But if you do have a fuel surcharge available to you, you get compensated for it by this anyhow because your average price of fuel went up. If you don't, you should think about a fuel surcharge because there's a push to increase fuel taxes in many states. There's a push to maybe increase the federal fuel tax for the first time in more than 2 decades. So I expect fuel to rise over the next 4 years. It might be a good time to think about a fuel surcharge for your business, but it's not time to panic right now.
Okay. DOT's DataQ crash and inspection information stuff.
This is a nightmare because
oh no,
the DOT has historically not cared whether the truck was at fault for the crash or not. Just merely the fact that you were involved in a crash makes you a risk to safety. Well, they have decided that maybe they should look at fault and avoidability in a crash. And so Overdrive Magazine, Todd is doing a great job tomorrow on a live discussion about their crash and inspection correction system. DataQ stands for data quality, and you can do a data quality challenge to make sure you have good quality data on your safety record that the DOT maintains for you. This is part of their compliance, safety, and accountability program. So when you get a bad inspection, you don't agree with it, something was wrong, you go to court and you get a ticket dismissed, you use the DataQ program to challenge that and get it removed from your records. So if you're interested in more information on that, I would check out Todd Dill's live Q&A through Overdrive Magazine. Overdrive Magazine also has a podcast if you're looking for something else to listen to. The audio quality is a little hard to listen, but it's great. But you really should be familiar with this DataQ process. It is a very important process to keeping your safety record clean and manageable as a trucking company. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of great remedies available to us when we get an inspection that we don't think we should have received a violation for, or we're involved in a crash and we don't believe that it should be on our record. The DataQ is our only means of adjudicating this. And the problem with the DataQ system in a nutshell is it goes back to the officer, or at least his supervisor, that wrote the violation in the first place, which puts you at the mercy of that officer to admit they made a mistake.
Boy, That's why I have a headache half the time after we do this show. All right. Next, let's go to, and thank you for that, Brian. We got a couple follow-ups. Okay, before we move on. Two Bears. Let's see. I did my last one in 2019. Do I need to do it again for last year? So I'm on the even year.
I would do it if your last one you did was physically in 2019. I would do it now, and then I would get on the right schedule next January, doing one again by the end of January 2022.
Right. It's better to overdo it than underdo it.
Yes. If you're more than a year out of compliance with your mileage and your biennial update, then the FMCSA can cite you. They can write you a ticket. Generally, they do not. Same thing, the UCR board could give you a problem with your UCR registration because your data is out of date. So if your last one was done in 2019, I would do one quickly now, and then again in 11 months, January 2022.
Right.
Get back on track.
Just get it in there.
Yes.
And Silvermint, do you need to update if you change vehicle?
If you physically change the vehicle, no. If you add or subtract trucks or trailers from your fleet, or add or subtract drivers from your fleet, then yes. Because on your MCS 150, you list the number of straight trucks you operate, number of tractors, number of trailers, number of CDL drivers, number of non-CDL. So if you grow your fleet and you're adding some trucks, yes, you need to update it immediately. If you're shrinking your fleet, you would be best off to update it and remove the vehicles. But physically just changing from one truck to another, you're replacing, no. Or just replacing drivers, because there isn't even a spot on there for you to input the specific vehicle information.
Okay. Let's go to, rules of the road. We were talking about, wait, we can't see us, and that's not fun. So there we are, rules of the road. I've got the book right here in my hands. This book was written by Hank Seaton. Hank Seaton, attorney at law, Henry E. Seaton. And it's a great book, Practical Guide to Legal Issues in Truck Transportation. I went ahead, I took a picture of the table of contents. There's a lot here. Overview.
Oh, yes. And I love this book. I use this book as a reference book for myself. It's a couple years old now. There's a couple of things that have changed that's not completely up to date. However, Hank did a great job telling you in the book that he knew the rules were in the process of being changed and that they will be out of date someday. So you even will know he highlights the data that he was expecting to change in this book. And really, this is a great overview, the table of contents of everything that you need to know to legally operate a trucking company, from the type of motor carrier and an intermediary, so broker or freight forwarder, etc., to the paperwork we need to legally have possession of that cargo and protect ourselves, right on down to how to deal with brokers and what they legally can and cannot do, tax information, leasing, if you're going to either lease on to another carrier or you want to think about leasing people on and letting them use your operating authority. He has information in there about how that works. Great information about insurance and
contracts, right? He has contracts.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So this and he breaks it down into layman's terms so you can get a pretty good idea. It's not a substitute for having actual legal counsel, and I am not an attorney,
right?
But from our transportation experts, and they're go-to people for these questions. It's not a substitute for having counsel. It's not a do-it-yourself guide, and you're going to go be able to write your own contract. But it tells you what should be in there, so you can at least get a feel if what you're giving doesn't feel right. And then you definitely know you want to have competent counsel from an attorney to guide you.
I should have highlighted the comment, and I need to do that. There was a lady that commented on the channel, and she said that, or I guess her husband got a truck and trailer and went to the auto auction, and that was pretty much as he knew. While he was doing that, she went onto YouTube, found my dispatcher training series, and learned a lot of stuff, and called him and said, hey, why don't you come back? let's talk a little bit more about what this guy's talking about. So next time you hit the road, we know something about what we're doing. And so I thought that because between this book and then the FMCSA website and then
Mhm.
some of the information here on Auto Transport Intel, at least you can arm yourself with some information rather
Yes.
than no, because it happens. I don't know. I don't know. It's happening every week. Somebody's getting into the business and they're either they met a guy at a truck stop that makes it rain, or they get information and
Yep.
then I guess that determines how many trailers are for sale on Craigslist. I don't know,
Oh, yeah. It
right?
happens every day. I get calls almost daily from someone. I just got put out of service. What do I do? I didn't have numbers. I'm driving a pickup truck. I'm a dealer hauling my own cars. I don't need any of this stuff. Well, you're wrong. So let's get you figured out. And this is a very complicated business. It really is.
This is pretty cool. Reese Kreitzer in the live chat says, and the book even helps with wording within websites you may be building. Very smart, Reese.
Very good idea.
That
Yes.
is a good idea. Fritz says Central Dispatch old operating software coming to an end soon. So Sue told me about this. I just got an email from Sue. Something's happening in March.
Yes, they're whole new search engine, whole new platform for Central Dispatch, and old timers are not happy about it because they like the way things used to work. I haven't been on Central Dispatch in 2 years, so I have no idea what is actually working or not working anymore.
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now. I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out what that's about on Dispatching Live tomorrow because
Yes.
I don't
Let,
log in there every day either, and I don't know where Sue got that info. Where did you get that info? Who
I
did someone
saw it
tell
in
you?
one of the Facebook auto transport groups.
Ah, it was on Facebook.
But yes, let Sue handle that because she is the dispatching expert.
John says, Brian, looking to move my business to Florida. I want to keep 2 trucks in New Jersey. Is it possible?
You can have trucks based anywhere you want. Major motor carriers have terminals all across the country. You just pick whatever state you're going to be a legal entity out of. We comply with those state laws as well as the federal laws. The hardest issue you're going to have is your insurance carrier. Unless you've been in business for a couple of years, your insurance carrier is not going to want you to have remotely domiciled vehicles. So you'll have to explain to your insurance company where you're moving your business to, where the office is going to be, and where your trucks are going to be parked at night or when the driver comes home for home time with them. And if they're going to all be in New Jersey, they're going to consider you just like a New Jersey based trucking company. But if you're going to have a couple in Florida, a couple up in New Jersey, then it will make your insurance a little more complicated. It's not impossible, but that's going to be a good question for Lionel Yates over there with our insurance expert.
Ooh, Lionel Yates, yeah. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share Lionel's. I had the link ready. Lionel Yates, and that's insurance. And bang, there it is, right there in the live chat. Cool, very good, very good, very good referral there. All right, we got less than 10 minutes. Let's hit another couple hot spots in the news. Okay, you saw this.
Yeah, that's actually not that far. That's about only 50 miles from my house. That was over on Interstate 84 in the New York side of the Delaware River. And I'm just glad it doesn't look like there was a whole lot of damage and doesn't look like the driver got hurt in that crash.
What do you so what goes through your mind when you see that?
First, I look at the road conditions and I wonder if he was driving too fast for road conditions or wasn't looking far enough ahead and something happened in front of him and he had to ditch it on purpose to avoid an even more severe crash. And then I look at high center of gravity with the last two vehicles still up high. And I'm guilty of doing that myself when I was an active car hauler and driving equipment like that. We don't pull the pins and set them back down. We just lift them up, unload the cars underneath, and then set them back where they were because we're under 13.6. We're good to go. That's a great load on a dry road, but on a slippery road, it could have wagged the tail of the trailer a little bit with the cars up high when they could have been down lower. I'm not saying that's what happened in this. I don't know much about this crash. My first, you can see it's a yellow line, which means he went off the left shoulder into the median. My first guess was he probably was going too fast for conditions.
Hmm. And then, so now he sits there. Now, what do you think goes through his mind? In the moments the truck stops, what's he thinking?
Thankfully, I didn't hit and kill anybody. And
Right?
then he's thinking about calling his shop steward because that's a union carrier so that they can protect them. And then he's thinking about where he is with his license and his security at his job for can he afford a crash right now? And then what do we do? Because that's going to be a recordable crash because it's going to need a tow truck to get him out. And if there's any damage that requires it to be towed away, then it becomes a recordable crash. So that crash stays on the DOT safety record. But really, he's probably just very thankful that he didn't take another car out with him.
Exactly. I mean, he did a good job. There must have been a crazy moment. He did a great job not flipping or crashing, coming to a full stop.
But exactly. It's still upright.
Yeah.
And in a ways back because I don't see any fresh tire marks to where he is. So I'm either he got too close to the edge and got sucked in, or he had to deliberately avoid something that happened in front of him.
And so ultimately, takeaways: if the weather's bad, go ahead and lower those back too, and just slow down a little bit, huh?
Yeah, keep your center of gravity as low as possible when the weather's bad, and just slow down, look a little further ahead. I recommend you look at least 15 seconds in front of you in good weather. Try to look a little further ahead of you in bad weather.
But ultimately, I'm really glad to see that it looks like he's okay.
Yeah, right? It looks like the truck's going to drive away, and there probably very little, if any, damage to any of the cars on that load. Possibly the one over the cab might have caught a tree branch, but it looks like that's not going to be a major cargo claim, and it looks like that truck's going to be driven away once it gets winched out of there.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to, since we got a couple minutes here left, and as Fritz points out, the show is way too short, but thank you. I appreciate that, because if you said this show is so long and boring, that'd be a problem.
We're not Tuesday nights.
Exactly. Okay. So the lawsuits begin. We knew this.
Yep.
We knew this. But here's the thing. Here's Exhibit A, Your Honor. Okay, I see cars in the front.
Yes.
How did trucks cause that?
Trucks caused it because they've got the big insurance policy. But seriously, what we have here...
Your witness. Okay.
What we have here is a very bad situation to be in. We have two lanes on a express part of the I-35 freeway, it looks like. And we had nowhere to go when the wreck started.
Oh, yeah.
Walls on both sides.
Oh, you're right. That's the problem.
Yes. And so I don't know
where to go.
The actual full front of the crash, because we do have another truck at the lower edge of the screen in front of it. But
this, I don't know if this truck was in the crash.
I'm not sure. And in either case, most likely it was a car that screwed up first and lost control on the base.
Honestly, I can't. I don't know if I'm just biased. I see people driving like bats out of hell all the time.
Yes.
So, and there's a lot of cars up front.
And what happens with this mess is we don't have CB radios or communication anymore. So when there's a major pileup like this that is unexpected, we have to rely on the DOT's Traffic Information Center to change the overhead sign, which does not happen in real time. It's not like the old days where there'd be a small wreck and we'd be on the CB radio and we'd be slowing down with the truck, and then the cars would see the truckers slowing down and say, something's up, we better slow down. Now we're all in our own little world. We're not looking far enough ahead. This was bad weather, icy road. I don't remember if there was fog this morning or not, but what happened, we all are following too close together and staying in packs. And unfortunately, We have a lot of trucking companies involved in this that have big insurance policies.
Right, it's back here.
Because
Right.
they rear-ended somebody.
You got a JB Hunt. Is that? I think
That's
that
a
might
Coca-Cola.
Be Coca-Cola.
We have
Ouch.
a FedEx back there.
Oh, brother.
I don't know who the car hauler is.
Right.
But, ultimately, if they hit a stopped obstacle in the road, they are at fault. So,
oh my God, that's ridiculous.
All the damage done because the trucking companies have the millions of dollars worth of insurance and the cars have minimum insurance. The trucking company is going to pay the majority of the cleanup on this. This is an insurance adjuster's nightmare because of what's where they have to look at every one of these and decide who's responsible for how much of the crash.
When you think of, okay, the acceleration, velocity, what are the words I'm trying to, the physics of this car hauler, there might have been 10 cars up front.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you look further back in the wreck where they're piling up on top of each other, they just collected the cars up like a bulldozer.
Exactly.
Under each other.
As Your Honor can see, right? The trucks collected the cars like a bulldozer. I rest my case.
Yes, and the trucks were driving too fast for conditions because they couldn't stop. Well, neither could the cars. It's a tragedy all around.
It sucks, man. I do. I'm not having fun, but what bothers me is the argument that the trucks are at fault if they're not. And I'm not sure they are. I don't see a bunch of trucks piled up front.
Well, they are, but they are not. They share part of the cause of this because obviously they were driving faster than they could stop if they hit something. So they were driving too fast for the ice on the roads. Whether they were paying attention and noticing that the roads were becoming icy or not, that would be where we would have to decide, did they deliberately ignore the fact the roads were icy because they're trying to make their schedule, or did this just turn to ice instantly?
Exactly. And there are external factors driving down on the trucker, causing stress. But again, I mean, I sound completely biased, but I've seen the way people drive, and none of this is cool. And by the way, none of these opinions expressed reflect the actual opinion of anybody associated with this show.
Absolutely.
It's all total hearsay. We're not attorneys.
We're just
trying to
having a conversation about what could have happened.
And there you go, Speculation Live. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of another DOT compliance. Really appreciate everybody tuning in the live chat, saying hello. Remember, if you are looking for help, go to autotransportintel.com, click on sign up, and we've got roundtable coming up Tuesday night. So if you want to join us on the roundtable, Ty is in the live chat. Let him know. Brian, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jake. Thank you for being here and helping get the show out.
Man, I appreciate it. All right, every Wednesday at noon, so it's time to let you go. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Oh, wait. JD.
We got a question.
Is it true that the insurance minimum will increase? I think we just stated why it will.
It's highly likely it is going to. We have a Democratic-controlled House, Congress, and White House, and the Democrats had already signed off on this last session. So it is highly likely, although we are fighting it. I work with several trade associations that are actively fighting this, and there are several other large trade associations, but it is highly likely we are going to see during this Biden administration an increase in our insurance minimums, and it may be as soon as this current Congress, so the next 24 months.
Wow. All right, well, hold on to your hats and your steering wheels. Stay tuned to DOT Compliance. We're checking out for the day. Brian, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
And I'll appreciate it. I'll see you soon. I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye. All right, everybody, we're out of here. You guys take care. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the warm weather, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.